He hasn't seen the children for 2 months. And if he stays away, floating around wherever he wants to, I mean, it's dreadful for the children.
Breaking right now. The brand new Prince Harry and Meghan Markle Netflix series finally has an air date, December the 10th, and the first trailer has been released, trumpeting the fact that these two are the executive producers of the show. And Angela Levin, Prince Harry's biographer, Queen Camilla's biographer, our royal mastermind who joins me now, Angela Levin, I'm going to make a prediction right here, right now. This show is going to be their biggest commercial disaster yet because the trailer is sleazy. It is completely out of touch where the rest of the world is at. And it shows that Harry and Meghan are living in their own little reality. Am I wrong?
No, I agree with you completely. I mean, it's ridiculous. Even in that small few seconds, really, you could see that it's wrong. Um, the man comes up and says about polo, it's not just hitting something, it's your life. You have to live it all the time. And then there's some sort of woman who's trying to look sexy, I think, saying, oh, they're so sexy as well. And they get dirty and smelly. It's lovely. And you think, excuse me, is this all about polo as a sort of factual thing of how it operates and been interested in doing that and look at men and say, oh my goodness, wow, aren't they lovely? And you think, well, who did the woman's one? Was it Meghan who got involved in that because she knows nothing about polo? And was that her suggestion? And it gives you a little bit of a and it's just painful. The thing is, it's gone through all their lives since they left the royal family in 2020 that they don't want to be told anything, especially not Meghan. They know it all themselves. They're the producers. What do they know about producers, really? Harry, zilch. Meghan, slightly more than zilch. It's a very stupid thing to do, just to have your name like that, which was on, I think, for just a second, quite
Yeah, but
understandably.
right at the start, though, right near the start.
And then what are they doing? I mean, it is absurd, and they've got a lot of people very annoyed about the way that the horses have been treated, and I think they're going to take some sort of action of not being fair to them, and they don't like it one bit. So the whole thing looks a total disaster. I wonder why Netflix has done it. Is it, do you think, because this says to them, right, this is it, we've done it, we've finished now. Let's show them what we've got. Let's tell them what people are saying about it. And that's it. It's an astonishing thing, isn't it?
I find the whole thing astonishing, Angela, because look, I'm very anti woke, right? But
Me
they
too.
are, yeah, no, and I know you are too. I know you are too. But they are the biggest campaigners for woke, right? And equality. Yet this series absolutely reinforces everything that they claim to hate, which is the men go and play polo, make the
Yeah.
money, and the women prance around and dresses drinking champagne. Again, I obviously see nothing wrong with that, right? As a concept, but it just shows you, I think, how corrupted Harry and Meghan's brand is.
Yes. Well, I think it's I think when people try and absolutely make a brand, they've got to take it very seriously. But in this case, I think they've got trying to keep it fun as well as letting people learn how difficult it is to play polo. And to do that is just to think quickly, oh, let's get some pretty women in. But I don't think they're doing it because they're really after with the woke side. I think they're doing it because it's the first thing that came into their heads, and that's what they're going to do. But it means nothing, and I think they don't step back and look and say, how are other people going to feel about this? Have we done it right for other people? And that sign that's just up there, is it unclear if Prince Harry will feature in Polo? Well, I think the rumor is that he doesn't. He's not in it, but we'll have to wait and see. But the whole thing, I mean, it's a great mess, isn't it? A
It's a total
great.
mess. It's a total mess because they have spent so much money on this deal to basically get a low grade Real Housewives of Polo type show, which could have been made much, much easier without paying Harry and Meghan well over $100 million. It makes no sense. And the thing is, Angela, if you look at the dislike figures online, far, far more people who are what I mean, look, there you go. Look at that. So
Yeah.
far, far more people who are watching the trailer are saying we don't like this. Now, people might hate watch the first episode. Let's be honest, Angela, for our professional duty, we will hate watch the first episode. We will report back on it. But the problem
But
is to be successful as TV producers, you actually really have to get people to buy in to what you're selling.
yes, but the thing is, again, it's all bitty. They think, what would be nice? Let's have champagne. You know, if somebody wants to watch a program on polo for 5 different times, then they want to really learn about it. You know, be interesting. It's like learning certain how to play football or anything like that. So you take it seriously doing that. But if you then say, well, you've got to have women who are all sexy and sort of looking at the boys and finding them all very attractive. But you're not going to have the same people watching it because both are going to be bored with the other side. So it's just ridiculously done. I mean, I've never seen anything so terrible in 15 seconds that you can imagine. I mean, it's almost taking a joke of yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. They are making a mockery of themselves now. They
Mm.
are social campaigners, social justice warriors who actually are now the purveyors of the most elitist sport in the world. Now, again, Angela, I have to be very clear on this. I'm not doing down polo, right? There is, of course, space. If people are prepared to pay all of that money to be part of a sport like that and they enjoy it absolutely fine. But it's the hypocrisy. It is the complete hypocrisy from these two who tell normal folk like us to do all of these special things when we travel so that we're not putting out carbon emissions, but then take private jets every single place they go. It's that type of hypocrisy. If Harry did not play polo, Meghan would be campaigning against polo.
Yes. Well, I mean, they're just very, very silly. They shouldn't have had, and they shouldn't have been producers. They shouldn't have had their names at the
No,
top of it because
they're
they're
desperate.
going to get all the rubbish thrown at them to say what a terrible thing you've done. It's just hopeless. I don't know how they can see. I mean, Meghan does listen. We've heard that. She gets people as a member of staff, but she doesn't listen to them because she thinks she knows best. This is an example of Meghan knowing best. But what a terrible example it is because
Totally.
you can see it's rubbish.
Totally. Now, look, Angela, we've spoken, of course, about the growing strains in Harry and Meghan's relationship, the fact that they have spent this week apart with Harry in Canada looking very happy, Meghan claiming that she's joyful while attending the launch of her business venture, Highbrow Hippie. But Angela, you've got some new information, or at least hearing rumors about whether Harry and Meghan are going to be together at Christmas this year.
Yes. Well, I think that's it would be terrible if they're not for their children. He hasn't seen the children for 2 months, and if he stays away floating around wherever he wants to. I mean, it's dreadful for the children. What he's planned is to host a virtual Christmas engagement for children who have lost a mother or a father. The charity is called Scottish Little Soldiers. So it is for people who have been in the army and have been killed. Um, but what his plan is, he wants to tell them what Christmas is like for a real life prince. Are they supposed to be bored or jealous? Why would telling children who've had that terrible event happen, um, that seeing a prince and having a nice time at Christmas adds cause towards the prince, not necessarily for them? How can it compensate for the loss of a parent? I mean, it's absolutely absurd thing to do. And if it makes them jealous, that's absurd. If they're bored stiff, that's absurd. It's nothing. But Meghan will not be with him, which is very, very significant, I think. Um, but
And
I
Angela,
feel,
it's so shocking, isn't it? Because it's not like the children have lots of extended family members.
well, that's
I mean,
exactly what I was going to say. I mean, the poor children, they don't have grandfathers. They don't have
well,
one
they do.
grandmother.
They're just both banned,
Not that
right?
they see,
Yeah,
not that they see.
yeah,
They
exactly.
don't see their cousins, they don't see their aunts, they don't see their uncles. They are not within a family framework, and it can be lovely for children to see all their family, and Christmas is a wonderful time for them to enjoy it. But if your parents are not going to be together and you're not going to see anybody else, not that they know what the real pain of that could be, I just feel immensely sorry for them, really. And that's why I feel that Harry, who's now trying to be a teacher, he shouldn't be allowed to do it,
Well, yes.
actually. It's
Can we talk about this, please, Angela? Because just explain to me what's going on here. So Prince Harry is almost trying to reinvent the Invictus Games, which is going to
mm,
be held in Canada early next
mm.
year. But as part of that, he seems to be focusing his attention very much at school children. And actually, just before you go into it, Angela, I just want to show you just this TV ad which he is using to promote the Invictus Games in Canada. Watch this.
Life-changing event. It's something that has the power to transform your life forever. From that moment forward, nothing is the same. This is the power of the Invictus Games.
Sport has the ability to heal, to change lives, and to save lives.
I am Patrick Levy. The Invictus Games changed my life. Don't miss a chance.
So, Angela, this is a big push, but you're concerned that the focus seems to be on school children.
Yes, he wants to expand it so that it's not just for adults who've had terrible, that been through a terrible time and lost a leg, or they got psychological issues from being in a war zone. And he wants to make it available for children. I mean, he says his own involvement in Invictus Games, and listen to this about me. It made a profound impact on him when he was in his 20s, don't forget. But he wants to do it with young children, and so that they see how it is much younger. Now, do you think that they should see terrible wounds, people struggling to give a normal life after they've had a terrible time with the army? I mean, how possibly can you imagine that, actually? And also, I think that he shouldn't be allowed with anybody over 3. I think he's very good with little children, playing football, running around, making jokes, and all that. But I think he's not an ideal to be a teacher. If you look at his early childhood, well, he was a real rebel at school. He was having drugs and cigarettes from 20, did little work. He liked childish tricks. putting a heavy book on the top of her door so it hit the teacher, shouting at William, jumping out behind a tree during a cross-country run, which William looked as if he was going to win. And William completely lost his concentration because this character, he didn't know it was Harry, said, I want an autograph, I want an autograph. And obviously is nervous about who can that be. So he lost his concentration, he lost his chance of winning. Harry played the fool. He asked to have the barber to have a skinhead cut, and the Buckingham Palace had to plead with journalists not to take any pictures of him like that because he looked absolutely shocking. He got into fights, kicked a window, and he had a crutch for after that. He's not a sort of person. Obviously, people grow up and they grow out of their naughtiness, but I think he still is
Yeah, but
a
I don't
naughty
think he's a
child
good
because
role model as an adult, Angela,
no,
actually.
I was going to say, that when he had the what we were talking about, he had the neck thing he
Oh,
had,
the tattoo.
but he had
The
the
fake
tattoo.
tattoo.
Yes, now that
The
was a
jelly
really
roll.
stupid thing. We wondered what it was. We thought he'd had it and he was in pain, but it was just a sort of joke. I think it's not a joke. I think it's a very childish thing, actually.
He's
And I think he's still
40.
in that Rome. Yes, he's 40 and he's a royal, and he thinks that that's a way of entertaining people.
And he's
And I think
swearing.
it's just,
He's talking about his private parts all the time.
yeah,
Angela, I think he is an embarrassment. And I believe that William thinks he's an embarrassment too, actually. It's
yes,
so
I'm sure.
unbecoming. Could you ever imagine William acting in this manner?
No, of course not. And he should have grown out of it, but he hasn't grown out of it. So he shouldn't actually become a teacher and tell children what to do and show them nasty pictures of people with terrible war cuts and losing legs. I don't think that that's right. But the other part of that is that he needs money for the Invictus Games. And he's hoping that if he takes it round schools and things like that, they will give more money so that the Invictus Games can go ahead next February in Canada. But it does make you feel awful, I think.
Now, the thing is, Angela, they're losing friends as well because Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi, who really were the two big name celebrities who had stayed loyal to Harry and Meghan in Montecito, have quit and moved to the Cotswolds in the UK, where they're hanging out with Jeremy Clarkson in the cold. Personally, I think this is a very strange decision, Angela, given they lived in a $90 million mansion in Montecito. There it is. And they're about to deal with the cold sort of winter that we have to deal with. I don't think they'll last 5 minutes here, if I'm honest, Angela. But they've done it because of the Donald Trump factor. And we know Harry and Meghan are thinking about the Donald Trump factor too. So do you think losing really two of their only celebrity friends from Montecito will have a big impact on Harry and Meghan?
No, I don't. But actually, I read today that it wasn't because of Trump, although they hate him, but that they decided to come over quite a long time ago. And they planned it all, and there's nothing ahead of them that they wanted to do. And so they've come over for a change. See, they'll see Kate Moss, Elizabeth Hurley's, Stella McCarthy, Damien Hirst, and Highgrove is nearby, so they could pop round to see the King and Queen. But that's not going to happen, and I don't think that Meghan will go for that. But they can possibly like it, but they don't like America apparently anymore. And she's had a lot of criticism for the way she treated the staff who were with her. And I think she just thought, blow, she's very, very wealthy, multi-millionaire, and she thought she'd come over with her wife. But, I think they thought it was funny to say that about Trump, or maybe they didn't, I don't know, but they'll come
Or
over and they'll
certainly
be.
they want people to think. That's why they've left the
Yeah,
country. I
exactly.
think that's
Yeah,
probably a
yeah.
very good point. Angela, stand by. Some major news about the health of Queen Camilla in just 1 minute. But first, we've been told our whole lives that wrinkle creams were the easiest way to look younger. Now, one doctor says that's nothing but old news. According to Dr. John Lake, the world-renowned Beverly Hills beauty expert, most wrinkle fixes on the market are nothing but glorified moisturizers. They hardly make a dent on your appearance, and some can even be harmful to your skin, he said. Recently, Dr. Lake has focused his attention away from mainstream cosmetic practices. Why? So he can pursue a revolutionary anti-aging breakthrough, one that some experts say could empty the wallets of the cosmetic industry. He says it's almost like Photoshop for your face. You may even be mad after seeing how easy it is to visibly erase your wrinkles from view. Now, his personal clients have dubbed his new do-it-yourself technique the age rewinder method because it can take years or even decades off your appearance in under 2 minutes. In light of this amazing breakthrough, Dr. Lake has released a step-by-step video to the public, free and uninterrupted, where he outlines exactly how to use this simple solution from home. He says, if this helps even one person look younger or feel more confident, I'll be thrilled knowing I helped. The video has since gone viral. At first, it was shared by users on Facebook, but since then, it's racked up over 2.3 million views and counting. So far, the comments and feedback have been outstanding, with thousands of women reporting they look decades younger. One viewer even commented, "Best results of anything I've used. I can't believe how well this works. I'll never stop using this. I don't understand how it works, but the results are great. Thank you." So you can find out more about this yourself right now. Go to www.bhmd1.com/outspoken, or you can just click in the link in the description box below. That's bhmd1.com/outspoken. Now, there is one thing Dr. Lake asked from his viewers. If watching this video helps you look and feel younger than you have in years, then please share this video with your friends and loved ones. Together, we have the power to help as many women reclaim a youthful look as possible. So go watch the video at bhmd1.com/outspoken right now, or just click on the description box, which is in the link, or click on the link, click on the link, which is in the description box below. But now, back to the show. Breaking right now, increasing fears about the health of Queen Camilla, who has had to pull out of the royal variety performance at the last minute, citing an ongoing chest infection. Angela Levin is Queen Camilla's biographer. She joins me now. And Angela, let me just take you through the statement that has come from Buckingham Palace this afternoon. It says, following a recent chest infection, the Queen continues to experience some post-viral symptoms, as a result of which doctors have advised that Her Majesty should prioritise sufficient rest. Rebecca English, the royal editor of the Daily Mail, reports it is understood that while she is very much on the road to recovery, these things can take time to fully clear. Given the length and lateness of tonight's engagement, she has, sources said, sensibly decided to heed medical advice. But Angela, should we be worried, given that Camilla seems pretty unwell at the moment? She has had to miss numerous public appearances, and of course with both Catherine and Queen Camilla, and actually with the late Queen and the late Prince Philip, we're often not told the truth about royal health matters.
Yes, I think one of the things is that, the cough on the chest of one of the illnesses that's going around, it does take a long time to get over. And I think that she went back full steam ahead. She didn't take it easily. What she did the Queen's Commonwealth essay competition. She did book prizes. She did diplomatic corps reception at the Buckingham Palace, which is a huge reception, all dolled up with jewels and crowns and all that. And I think it was too much. So probably, including her age, she started coughing again. And it seemed that the easiest thing to help her was to go to bed early and not to do the Royal Variety performance, because if you keep coughing, it's not very nice for people either, and they will make a lot of comments about it. But she did say the show must go on, so she's quite keen that they carry on absolutely without her. But she has been very, very busy, and I think sometimes these bugs come back again and again, and it can take you a long time. It's cold, it's wet, and I think that she does need more rest. But she's very, very active, and she doesn't want to. But the body says something, and you have to listen.
Okay, so you're not too concerned. You don't think there is some major health
Hidden.
issue which is being hidden.
No, I mean, I've been thinking that, how could she possibly do these things, one a day, two a day, three a day, and it's just too much after you've been very unwell, and you've also spent, all those days abroad, and I think the traveling and everything is too much, and you're very vulnerable. A lot of us are very vulnerable, and I think especially for these bugs that make you cough, it can go on for weeks and weeks, and you just must give into it and rest.
Now, fascinating information coming from Angela Levin, our royal mastermind, about the end of a royal feud. This week, Queen Camilla and the Princess Royal Anne appeared together for a presentation of an honorary doctorate. And it was absolutely beautiful to see these two getting on like close friends. And in fact, we'll look shortly at some footage which shows just how seriously Anne takes the respect that she has for Camilla as queen. However, Angela, you were, or are, I should say, Queen Camilla's biographer, and things were not always so rosy between these two, but you can reveal that their feud is now over. So what happened?
Yes, I mean it's wonderful, really. Princess Anne very much felt the same as the late Queen Elizabeth, and Queen Elizabeth wouldn't go anywhere near where Camilla was once she started going out with Charles regularly. She just wouldn't, and she wouldn't go to parties or any engagements if she was doing that. And Princess Anne did the same. She thought she wasn't the right person for Charles, and she wasn't the right person for him to be with. And she sort of brought out what I called her frosty demeanor, which is quite scary. And she was just like the Queen. And they were not going to give in. But slowly, slowly, Camilla got more used to what her role was as King Charles's partner, and that she loved it. She felt huge duty to the royal family. She looked fine to be with him. When she was with him, people said that he didn't get so irritable, and Princess Anne saw that and realized that actually he was a very different man. He was happy, he could get on with much more work, and she really did love him. And so she sort of eased off. I mean, they did have this, they were both had a relationship with Andrew Parker Bowles, a well-known womanizer, and I don't know whether that was part of it, but they both did like him a great deal. But she really began to understand that Camilla had taken her role seriously, and she said that when after Queen Elizabeth died, she said Camilla's understanding of her role and how much different it makes to the king has been absolutely outstanding. And that was a huge thing for her to say. But
Yes,
it was
because
a shame they didn't.
she's not sort
They,
of the type of person that gives that sort of
no,
exuberant
huge
praise.
compliment. Yes, and in fact, the reality is that they have so much in common. Horses they both adore. Dogs they both adore, reading they both adore. There's lots of things that they have in common. And now she feels that she's doing a marvelous job and continues to do so, not just after the death of her mother, but that she was doing a wonderful job. So all the nastiness has gone. And Camilla never takes grudge. She never feels a grudge of somebody. And so they are now close together. And I think that Princess Anne helping Charles as much as she has done as well. She comes in to stand in for him whenever it's necessary. And the two women are very, very close now. And I think it's wonderful because that's what I think Camilla deserved. And she went through a terrible time when no one would speak to her and felt that she was,
Well, I know,
the wrong
and
person.
Angela, the thought of having Princess Anne despising me and being in the same room of Princess Anne is just a very scary thought, because that's not a
Yeah.
woman you want to mess with. But now, Angela, as we saw at this event this week, she actually treats the Queen with the
Yes.
utmost courtesy and respect. And I just want to show an example of that. So this is when they're walking into the room together, and Camilla is never big on sort of formal protocol, certainly not when it
Yeah.
comes to herself. But Anne makes it absolutely clear that no, you are
Who goes
queen,
first?
you will go first. Yeah, so let's have a watch and then you can comment on the back. And that was
Lovely.
fascinating, wasn't it?
Yes, but what it was is that Princess Anne is a chancellor at the University of London, and she got an honorary doctorate in recognition of her personal mission to help people read and her own love of reading. She did it for other people and she did it for herself. Her father read to her a great deal, and she absolutely is still loving reading books all the time. So she also got it for promoting literacy and also for her online book club, January 21. You might remember that. She received an overwhelming response to recommend reading lists she posted on Instagram during the lockdown. And it later became the Queen's Reading Room charity. And it's grown into a global community for book lovers all around the world. And she said what she likes, or she gets the author to come in and explain it. And people who don't know what to pick up as a book, because you see so many and you think, I don't know what I might like. And she actually talks about it. She does it with children, and she makes it an awful lot of fun, where they have chocolate drinks and the writer makes them all laugh. She's done it very, very well. And, she's now got that wonderful honorary doctorate, which I think she really does deserve. And wherever she goes on an engagement around the world, she always does something about reading. She will read to the children, but more importantly, she likes for them to see the books that they would like.
And you saw the very natural, friendly relationship between Princess Anne and Camilla in the moment where she actually presented the doctorate to her. Let's just have a look at this video, Angela.
how they're clapping on and on and on.
Oh, wasn't it
They loved
lovely?
it. It's very, very moving. I think these things are very moving when you manage to get over these relationships and
Yeah.
find out that actually you get on so well and you can enjoy each other's life and understand. I mean, Princess Anne understands King Charles just as much as Camilla does, and they can talk and joke, and they can have a really lovely time. She's not invasive though. Camilla doesn't, stick around all the time or tell you what to do. But it's more fun and talking about horses and racing and all that sort of thing. And it's absolutely lovely. It would have been a great shame if they'd gone through life without making up a proper relationship.
Yes, well, I'm glad to see. I mean, look, Angela, let's be honest. We've spoken about a lot of feuds within the royal family over the past couple of years. So it's lovely to actually see a feud that has ended, and not just
Yes.
ended, actually turned into a strong and positive relationship, which we need within the British monarchy at the
Yes,
moment.
absolutely. But neither of them did anything bad.
No.
They just felt that it shouldn't work and it wasn't right. But it wasn't that they actually did things that would bring down the royal family. That didn't happen at all. She worked very hard, and she said to me, the more she does, the more she enjoys it, and that she feels that her position before she was married, that she can help other people. And that's certainly what Camilla has done. And Anne likes people who work hard. She works incredibly hard. We don't hear so much about it because she doesn't want to take journalists along or photographers, but actually she works incredibly hard, and she would respect somebody who also worked incredibly hard and had a sense of humor. That's important too.
Oh, honestly, very nice, heartwarming story, Angela
Yes,
Levin.
yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we will see you next week.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Have an amazing weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.